This video is a reaction to men going abroad for love and wife, and let's start the clip.
Wait.
You don't?
Well, no, I think being entitled is blaming your lack of relationship success on an entire nation of women.
I was very successful in England, very, very successful, but I noticed that every time I saw a beautiful woman and went to talk to her, where are you from? Oh, Sweden. Oh, Russia.
There's
oh,
no
the
beautiful
Ukraine.
women in the UK.
No, there are,
I
for
think
sure.
that's
A lot of
racist.
them are foreign in London, and it's just comparatively, there are way more in Russia. So, you know, you walk down Oxford Street, you see a few beautiful women, many of them are foreign. You walk down the equivalent street in Moscow, it's like, my God, you know, they're everywhere.
Do you think there were any other reasons why you weren't particularly successful with British women when you were
I was
looking
very
for dates
successful,
here?
like I said.
But you've just said that most of the women that you were attracted to were foreign. So, you know, telling women that you're potentially going to date that they're entitled, overweight and moan all the time...
I wasn't telling them that at the time, obviously.
May not be the most successful chat-up line.
It's not one I would recommend, but
No.
it was. This is like a process of my experience. I was in the UK until 2009. Then I travelled a lot. I've been to 60 countries. You know, I went to Brazil. They're very nice. I went to Scandinavia. Denmark's got very beautiful women. But when I went to Russia, I found the whole package: the looks, the character, everything.
Your mother's English, right?
Yes, she is.
So does she also qualify as unattractive, stupid, entitled and the rest of it, or is she an exception?
No, but she lives out there with me and she agrees. She
Your
says
mother
the women-
agrees that all English women are awful, even though
No,
she's an
she
English
agrees
woman.
that they're better out there.
Right.
She says they're lovely, honest people, kind, and there's beautiful women everywhere.
I think you're just peddling like a really dangerous, like stereotypical view of beauty that is just so damaging for women and men.
Complain to Victoria's Secret. You know, if you like those kind of women, then that's what you'll find in Russia. If you don't like that kind of women, then of course I
would I
meet
complain to
guys
an underwear
that
shop?
have all kinds of different tastes, right? I meet guys that have tastes that don't coincide with mine at all, and that's fine. But for guys that, you know, like that stereotypical beautiful woman, that's where you will find it.
Profiling people by where they come from. Do you?
I have concern about that. I have a concern about the fact that you think all British women are overweight.
Not all, obviously.
I mean, actually, more British, statistically, if we're talking about the obesity problem in the UK, which is a slightly different debate, but actually more British
big
men are
problem.
overweight.
Well, Richard, we have 3 English women here. Brazil, are they all fat, entitled, stupid? I mean,
I don't know them.
what's your view of the women
You
around
don't
the
know
desk?
them, but
Well, Richard,
you've
just cast your
Piers.
expert eye over the women at this desk, for example.
I think that would be rude. I'd like to keep
let's
things...
hear
I'd like to
you
keep
be
things
brutally
short.
honest.
Well, I don't want to
mean,
be
you're full of
baited
it.
into
You're full of this.
insulting.
You've got 3 women.
I've got respect for the women.
You've got
here.
no
I'm not
respect
gonna get
for English
personal.
women. That's the whole point.
I'm generalising.
You have 0 respect for English women. You
I've
are
got
a
respect for my
repulsive
mother. I've
individual
got respect for
who's
many
come on
British
here.
women.
And when you're
There are
actually
many
confronted,
talented, beautiful British women.
by smart, intelligent, beautiful women, you can't deal with them, can you?
Of course I can. I'm dealing with
Well, go
everyone.
on, then say what you want to say
I
to
don't
their
wanna
faces.
I want to tell you that the women are more beautiful in Russia.
Right.
Shock, you know, and they're very nice. They're great, honest,
So they
intelligent
don't tell
women.
you that you're an idiot for thinking those things. Is that what you call nice?
Who's they?
What Russian women
Do you
don't
speak Russian?
tell you?
Yeah,
You do, fluent Russian.
ish.
So they can't really understand a word you're saying, can they? Did your wife even know what you were saying when you seduced her?
She speaks perfect English, and I
Yeah.
speak very good Russian.
Right. Do you?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, go on then.
Я говорю по-русски, моя жена стоит там.
What's that?
Она
My name
очень
is
красивая.
Dick and I want to marry you. Got it?
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Who are the men that you're helping who currently,
Well,
these hugely attractive
question.
men who are highly intelligent and want to have successful, committed relationships, how come these incredible men are not finding women here in the UK?
I'm a dating coach. I've been doing it for 11 years. I've got successful companies, turned over $50 million. We've got 1 million website visitors a month. These guys are listening to me. They want my advice, and a lot of them are very unsatisfied. And the guys that have come and visited me in Eastern Europe, in Russia, are like, wow, you know, this is like a breath of fresh air. As I said, many men are going to be really happy with English women. That's great.
Can I just
For
say-
the men that are unsatisfied, they can listen to me, they can take my advice, and they might end up very, very happy. That's my job.
I think, like, you're suggesting that there's a cheat's way to being confident and right with yourself, and that cheat's way is to just move abroad. And in order to be like available
It's
in a
not, it's just-
relationship,
look, it's
you
just
just have to
finding
do the
people-
hard work to feel right with yourself and be able to like show love to people and receive love. Like there's not a cheat's way. You don't just move
if
to another
you're-
country and
if you're
everything's fine.
healthy, you know, vegan, yoga
You know what,
bunny,
Richard?
then
Here's the bottom
probably
line.
you're going to find more people
Richard,
like
here's the
that
bottom
in LA.
line.
People are different all over the world.
I think you are right to seek your future in Russia, because I think the chances of you
want me to
ever
get
having
lost?
sex in this country again are zero.
Not at all
But it's
zero,
been,
but
it's been,
I respect
But
my
you're
wife.
married.
It's
Why
been-
would you say that?
it's been fascinating
Would
having
not
you,
be zero.
giving us your views.
Yeah, Rich,
Thank
thanks
you very
very
much
much,
for
Felicity.
having
Thanks
me.
very much indeed.
That's a guy with real experience with women, and he's just telling the truth. Everybody already knows that. Eastern Europe tends to have a lot of beautiful women, right? Part of South America have a lot of beautiful women. Everybody knows that. These beautiful people in certain part of the world, whatever. The fact that they got so defensive when all he was suggesting is that women in certain part of more conservative areas of the world, like Eastern Europe, still expose the traditional feminine energy of wanting to take care of their men, take care of their own bodies, wanting kids, family, wanting to serve their man, their husband, as opposed to England, where it's very much like, you know, America, the Mecca of the West, essentially, where feminism has a strong driving force. Women are taught to be strong and independent. I don't need no man, they say. You know, men are portrayed in the media as like bumbling fools. All they do is break things, don't know how to fix anything, can't take care of themselves, their babies. They are practically drawing children. You have to mummy them, right? That's essentially what the media is pushing in the West. And you have these women that are living values and lifestyles that don't coincide with getting a ring or commitment for a man. And then they get bad heart when a guy makes a simple comment on, if you do want a more traditional woman, that is well put together. You have to go to Eastern Europe, and their heads pop off and explode immediately. The small d energy apparently is what they are saying. You'll never get another woman in England again. And he was saying what's true. That's a very international city where a lot of the beautiful women that tend to live there, similar to New York or LA style, are foreigners, right? But they can't handle it. What do you mean? What do you mean? You want to go to Russia and they are better. Blah blah. She's got pink hair. Of all the people to counter-argue this, you brought a pink-haired woman. A lot of the countries they are talking about tend to be poor, you know, but does the dichotomy of the lifestyle change with a woman becoming a career-oriented? She loses her feminine nature, her feminine qualities. That's a rise. Well, you could be very hot and have insane standards and be a traditional woman, right? I'm not getting with a guy that makes less than inordinate amount of money, because I want to live that basically rich mommy lifestyle. But I'm just saying the availability of men that can provide that certain lifestyle is foreign, and we know that for a woman that to be able to respect her husband and to fall into that submissive role, he has to be better than her. And for certain men, it's easy to find a woman that they are better than in a place. We recommend you go abroad because it's easier to find a woman you are better than, that will respect you, that will be happy with the 50,000-60,000 a year you're making. That's a complete lifestyle shift from the little village girl life. She has to be milking cows, right? And there is nothing wrong in this dynamic, because she gets to get out of the village and go to America or the West if she wants. Whatever he can take care of her, of course. She doesn't need Lamborghinis or G-Wagons and all that. Her standards are different. She was raised more traditionally and has different values. It's just different values. That's all it is. So what he's saying is that going into her other countries increases your chances, because it's harder in the West to find a traditional woman. That's not what is posed in woman today. The culture is more like the culture. Yeah, the cultures are different. So it's harder to find a woman that is more traditional here. When you do find a woman here, it's just harder in general to date, because of the disconnection in energy, masculine and feminine nature. People have different values, like we said. The laws aren't as friendly here, are complicated. Child support, marriage, would get married in their country, your outcome will be different if you get married there. But what's happening is that when you bring a girl over here, you are more in a position to try to make it work before leaving so easily as it is going now. The option of leaving would be hard, because she's coming from another country. He basically uprooted her lifestyle for the better. She's not going to want to go back to the village. She's more inclined to make it work. Whether you think that's morally acceptable or not, that's a whole different argument in perspective. But in the perspective of purely dating, and if you want to tell a man what gives you a better option and a better outcome, where could you find a quote better woman for you that would respect you more and try harder at the relationship, or just be traditional minded in the way you want? It will have to be abroad. So when these guys are giving kind of this recommendation to men to just try to go abroad, or men that live in this country say, hey, it's hard for me, I can't find the right woman that I would want to marry, and they say, well, go abroad. This is why, because the variables are, she got a higher standard here, because she wants the top man, social media, whatever. She's been on expensive diners, dates, whatever. her standards are higher in that sense, maybe delusional. In that sense, she thinks she deserves more. That's where the issues are, I think. This is why they got defensive, and this is why I wanted to bring that up, of why it is really, and I think the answer is what we just said. It's easier for a lot of men to find a woman that they are better than, and that's how the dynamics works. He was just saying there's women in Russia that fit these molds a bit more. They are more common, beautiful women, more traditional in Russia. There is nothing wrong about saying. They got defensive immediately and were like, oh, but you're saying basically they are all stupid, fat, ugly in the UK. They got super defensive about it because all he was saying is that there is more quality woman in Russia for marriage and in that traditional sense that they were looking for. They got immediately defensive, saying like, oh, is your mom fat? Is your mom stupid? Or, oh my god. It just hit a nerve with them, because again, he's arguing against a pink-haired woman and two women that are clearly in their 30s, low 40s. The obesity problem that we have is clearly visible here. Just walk around and you'll see. So the obesity problem, the mentality problem, the values problem, it's a lot of stuff that you have to go through. And then when you do even go through it and you do meet one that seems to match, she's probably foreign. To find a homegrown, fully raised Western woman that still espouses that kind of traditional ideal is extremely rare. So, what do you do as a man if that is what you're looking for? You're gonna go overseas, of course. You're gonna do like the Philippines, as I heard. Is a really common one. Eastern Europe, wherever. Brazil, Argentina, wherever. It doesn't matter. Just where feminism hasn't abroaded in society as much. Men are just looking to start a simple families with a woman that has a nurturing nature of raising children, which is something that is missing from Western women these days. Today, in general, because of how society is set up and the values we have today, we are very disconnected. Nuclear families are broken, and we don't have much traditional to fall back on, like our grandparents. So, what happens with a woman in the West if everyone's advice is for men in the West to look elsewhere for a wife? What happens to all the women in West then? Well, one study we referenced said that by 2030, 50% of women will be without a man. That's the direction we are heading, because part of the problem, men are looking for traditional values, are starting to go overseas, and the other half of men are just checking out completely. They don't want to deal with women at all, like MGTOW, for example, in some instances. This is going to be a big issue that women will have to deal with in the future as their options dwindle. They become more educated and higher earning, men will be going to college less, so the dating pool will tighten for women. And in the West, woman's self-worth will be tied to her job, like a man's. We know women don't date down, so it's going to take a smaller and smaller pool of men that she will only be looking for dates. So there will be a lot of women left alone, unfortunately. That's where we are going in the future. And again, this is only under the lens if you are looking for a specific lifestyle. Right, and there is plenty of men left in the West, plenty of men that want to be in two income household, want to have a more libertarian lifestyle or dual income, no kids is becoming a big thing for many, or just like their woman to be different, from the traditional one. Is what they grew up around. So only in the lens if you want to be kind of the head of the household man with a stay-at-home wife that's home with the babies and loves to do that and excuse that kind of natural femininity towards that inclination, right? Because there are some women that are type go-getters, want to go college, of course, want to advance their careers, want to build a business, that are very much masculine in their nature and are okay to be paired with less masculine men that look a lot like a woman. And dynamically, it just depends on what you are looking for. In the West, there will be the type of women that are absolutely crushing it at work and are okay with the stay-at-home husband that watches the kids. The dynamics are changing of who the income, the bread earner in the house is, all the stuff, that hey, you are cool being a stay-at-home dad and like watching the kids, and your wife is an absolute boss at work. If you guys can somehow make that happen over the long term and be happy, go for it. I think the dynamics of what we consider a relationship and a marriage these days are changing because society is moving faster. We are fighting biology and what we've known from our grandparents and trying to kind of stitch their old worlds relationship into the new worlds. But the problem, the friction that we are running into is partly tied to the biology. So like when we were having the discussion of men liking younger women, more feminine, just less combative and less argumentative, and then we see women today becoming a little bit more masculine in their energy and pursuing high stress careers, working longer hours, essentially making it harder for themselves to even have a family, to have kids, to watch them, just for the nature of their careers and stuff. It's turning relationships on their heads. And in order for these people to come together and have a successful relationship, there has to be some give and some take. Now, if you're not willing to give and take, and you want the traditional lifestyle, it's going to be more and more difficult for you to find that because people are just different now. A lot of people, so that's why you have to go overseas. There's plenty of beautiful women, people walking around the West. Also, of course, it's not the issue. It's just you are not. You are also not meant to mentally on that scale a match. No, you may not want to sync values. She might not want kids these days. A lot of women, there's quite a few that say they don't want kids or all periods. They are deep into their careers or don't want to start families. Like I would rather chase my career and whatever. I don't want to ever get married. Things like that. There are some women it's growing, and the reaction is also growing. I mean, many men going their own way. MGTOW, feminism everywhere. Look at the Rule Zero, Donovan Sharpe, Coach Greg Adams, Anton Daniels, Andrew Clavin. I mean, this is one of the MGTOW movements. You also have the tribe of men to pushing. Modern life dating is getting a little bit complicated. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the video in the screen now. And tell me what you think about this. Let me know any experiences. And also be sure to like this video, please, and subscribe. And I will talk to you next time.